line. So we have covered about 16 steps. The last two steps were, I do not know and let me know. So when we say let me know, what we are focusing on the means of knowledge. In the last Monday, we covered the topic of Manan. Manan means we are clarifying the object of knowledge. Understand that clearly. So, means of knowledge, object of knowledge, and now we are coming to the Master explains what exactly is meditation. So, in meditation is explained as nididhyasana. The word is used by him as nidhyasana. So, in meditation, after clarifying the means of knowledge, when we clarify the means of knowledge, we clarify the object of knowledge. What is the object of knowledge? My true nature. So I should not have any doubt about it in the intellect. So when there is no doubt, there is a total clarity about the real self, then we start our practice. I don't experience, so let me practice. So that practice is known as meditation. So what people do? Close your eyes, focus on the breath, and that is what the meditation is. No. I should be clear about means of knowledge, object of knowledge. So now what is the third one? In meditation, we deal with the subject of knowledge. Who is the subject of knowledge? The knower, the seer. Now let me put one thought. Every research studies done in the science on mindfulness and meditation are remarkable for the last 6-7 decades. And the latest studies shows a neuroplasticity can take place. Epigenetics, neurogenesis. What they mean? That you can change the neurons. They are functioning. You can change even the DNA. Latest studies in California done by the neuroscientists, they say that we can bring about a mutation in the DNA. Isn't it wonderful? Isn't it remarkable? But what we are talking, we should also understand what our great masters are saying. What we are saying. You do all kinds of research. We agree with you. But can you tell us that a person is in a meditative state or not? If the person is in a meditative state, then all your research studies are good. We agree with you. How can you tell a person is in a meditative state? There is no way. Science cannot tell us. Do you see that? So here the master is dealing in 4 steps. First step, he says clearly bring the clarity, conviction in the journey of a self-discovery. Means now you are the seeker who knows the means of the knowledge and the object of knowledge is clear. Now he says the ultimate meditation is on the real self. But the real self has no name and the form. How can you do it? So we start with an object. But here comes, the Master says in the 18th step, take refuge in the real self. When the mind is going anywhere, it has to be brought back to that real self again and again. And the step 19, it says, is very important. Avoid contradictory and irrational argument. In the first 15 steps, we clearly understand that how the mind enters into a debate and starts doing the contradictory argument, and then what happens? Then the mind goes astray, mind enters into a conflict and confusion. Then your practice and experience will not yield any result. So all the 4 steps focus on the actual ways of meditating, based on the previous 15 and the 16 steps. Now understand, the first step, what was? Shravanam, I do not know. Let me know it. What should I know? So there are about 50 topics. But all the topics are focused on what is bondage causing suffering, how that suffering has entered into my life, how does that suffering continues to stay, how can one get rid of it completely, what is non-self, what is the real self, how do I do? Viveka, I am a seeker. Discernment, separating the self from the non-self. So when you are 100% clear, the first Shravanam is over, then you bring a clarity. Clarity that now what exactly is the real self? You see, we teachers in Eastern wisdom never say, believe it, close your eyes. If you don't believe, get out. We don't say it. We say understand. Go slowly. Understand the object of knowledge. What is the objective of the knowledge? Let me be 100% clear about what is the real self. What is that pure consciousness? So once we have a clarity, and then only if you meditate, every practice of meditation succeeds. Now, I'll give another example what exactly happens in meditation. But before going there, we should also understand the first 15 steps helps us to clear the mind. That mind starts becoming more and more aware of the subjective reality. I have a thought. Yes, I have a thought. Then who is the thinker behind the thought? I am eating. Who is the eater? But there is another big problem in succeeding in meditation. You have seen that the body starts visiting, the mind starts wandering, you have lot of thoughts, and sometimes the thought appears from nowhere. I never thought of it. The thought from the 10 years ago enters into the mind. So I give you one example, beautifully explained by one master. You know, deer who has a strong sense of hearing, it needs highly developed hearing for a deer to detect a tiger. But the same developed sense gets addicted to a sweet music and entrapped by a hunter. So deer has only one strong sense organ. We have all the 5 sense organs. We don't live in that aware. Elephant. Sense organ, very strong, that is sense of touch. So what they do? They dig down and they put lot of plants over that dig hole, and they put a she elephant there, and the he elephant, listening to the sweets, starts running, falls into the dig. Sense of touch. Moth is attracted by the sense of sight. Fish, sense of taste. When we go for fishing. Honeybee, sense of smell. They are killed, trapped by a hunter when they have only one sense organ which is very strong. What about us? We have all the 5 sense organs, which is highly developed and strong. They get attracted. They are trapped. It kills our knowledge. It is deadly than the poison. So the first 15 step helps to clear the ground. Clear the ground. Now all these 4 steps, where it leads to. Understand by one example. There are 2 rivers. Think of the 2 rivers. They are flowing constantly, and they ultimately merge into an ocean. Clear? Every river merges into an ocean. Right? Now they lose their identity in the ocean. That is a taste of meditation. That I-ness is not there. Are you getting it? Now from the same ocean, you have the clouds, and then ultimately the rain, and the individual river again starts flowing. And again they go and merge into the river. Are you getting it? As a river, can I maintain that identity that I am an ocean? I am not a river. I am not an individual being. There is no difference between me and the David, me, David and the Daniel, me, David and the Lara and the Jerry. There is no difference at all. At the individual level outside, one ocean inside. Can I maintain that awareness? There is a simultaneous awareness. Inside, one. Outside, yes, I am Girish, with the word of name in the form. Are you getting it? That very river is in reality an ocean, but claims I am a river. That is the biggest problem. That is solved in the journey of practice of meditation. Are you getting it? At the individual level, you have conflict, you have duality, because I am limited by it. So why I took up the 7 questions? What is bondage causing suffering? I feel I am an individual. I am limited. Then I live in ignorance, and that ignorance causing the suffering. So now, from that understanding, ask yourself, is there any need for pride or ego? No. Understand that clearly. When you have an understanding, ego has no place. Why should I maintain my ego? Why? I am an ocean. I am only one reality. You see that? Do you see that? I am one reality. But at the transactional level, I will do everything as a separate individual. the transactional level, at the worldly level, at the objective level. That is what we make it clear by mananam. My master used to say, vichar karo. In Hindi, he said, vichar, vichar, vichar. So that vichar is known as process of contemplation and reflection. Are you getting it? A little typical concept, but not very hard to understand. It is very easy to understand. So now when we say that, is there any need for having a separate ego? It doesn't mean. Let me tell you one thing. In a very... I had some problem with my property in India. I'm briefly saying you. So in those days, I was undergoing evolution. It is almost 30 years back. So I used to tell everything to my master. I said, this is the problem. So you see that? There is another pride and ego takes over. That ego says, I'm a meditator. Why should I care? Even if somebody takes my property. You see, that is also another ego. So in Delhi, it happened, that's a long story, I'll tell you later. So I went to the master, I explained to him, and he said, He didn't answer. So after breakfast, he took me to the border of the monastery. He always used to carry a long stick. Then he said, do you see this is the border of our monastery? Yes. The wall. There is another ashram monastery on the other side? Yes. So if the other monastery encroaches this, your monastery, what you will do? I will fight it out. Why? Because I love my master. So my master told me, why the hell you are not doing the same thing? Why you claim that you have become a great yogi and a meditator? For the transactional reality, you have to see what is relative truth. You have to act accordingly. Are you understanding that point? But at the same time, you have a simultaneous awareness of one reality, one true nature. Do you see? I can give you hundreds of examples that I have. They know it. Samir knows the entire story. So that I moved in a different way, and I got the problem solved. So sometime that ego claims that, you are so humble. No, that will not work. My master used to say, meditative. Now, let me rephrase it from Hindi to English. Without humility, the humility always comes when you are in a meditative state. Humility without meditation or meditative state is a sign of hypocrisy. And that happened to me. Who cares, I'm a meditator. So if somebody encroaches my land, let me give it. Why? Because I'm a meditator. It doesn't work that way. So it is not to take over the property. It is the ego sense. That needs to be dropped completely. Ego creates a separative identity like a river. Now compare this. River, as long as the river considers itself as an individual, but ultimately merges into an ocean, and from the ocean the river again comes. So the last point I want to make before we go into the practice. Do you see, it is a process of being and becoming. Consider the ocean as a state of being. And the river is a state of becoming. So first find out from your mind and intellect. The mind and intellect says, I am something. I am something. First 15 step helps you to move towards you are nothing. You reach to a meditative state, nothingness. You come out of a meditative state, you become everything. Something, ego, separative identity, river. Now you merge into an ocean, nothing. Now you see yourself, I'm an ocean. Unlimited, infinite, all-pervading, permanent peace and happiness. You become everything. These are the 4 steps explained by this great master from Sadhana, Panchakam. I studied long back in 85, 86. Then he stopped teaching this Sadhana Panchakam. But he said, never leave this book. So every day, for years and years, and it helped clarify these topics. So let us start with our journey of meditation today. Close your eyes. Close your eyes in the stage 1. Position of the body. You become aware of the position of the body, that is steadiness, and the mind is facing within, either inside the heart or inside the forehead. What do we see? The space. 100% clarity. There is no doubt, there is no blind faith. And in that space, you experience a bit of calmness. Very good, my friends. What is the goal? To maintain that continuity of calmness that is discovered by you, not created by you. We settle further by being comfortable. Look at the neck joint. When you look at the neck joint, physical, did you understand? And then we move into the subtler mind, experience, sensation, being comfortable and steadiness. We did it in a couple of sessions before. So by being comfortable is one thing at the outer level. We are moving into subtler mind. You make the mind subtlest, it becomes meditative state. Move the mind on the shoulder joints. You are aware. You feel the sensation, being comfortable and steadiness. Move the mind on the hip joint, ankles and the toes. You feel the object of knowledge. You see that? That is from where I started. And now, knower. Who is the knower? Who is experiencing sensation, being comfortable and steadiness? Knower. Knower is the ocean. But at present, the mind is still limited. That's why we have a subjective experience. The entire body from the top of the head to the toes. Experience sensation being comfortable and steadiness. In the stage 1, step 3 being carefree. Carefree. If a river claims, "Oh, such a beautiful sound coming from the higher mountains, I am the river with a beautiful sound," but the beautiful sound is a part of it. The thoughts, feelings, sensations that comes to the mind are separate from me. Can I witness? The great master Vivekananda used to say, step back. Step back from what? The moment the thought enters into your mind. Why to step back? To witness. They are different from who am I? That is why I gave an example, couple of examples, simile. The birds in the sky is not me. The sky is me. Being carefree and being casual, perfectly natural. Is the ocean craving for a river? Answer is no. But I am an ocean, perfectly natural. Ocean is a simile, as an example. That is being casual. And we move to the second stage. We never think, should never make a point, now my mind is pure. That is why Patanjali gives 29 different stages of meditation. Step by step, the impurity has to be removed. So we'll continue with that process of purifying, looking inside the belly button in the space and start breathing short and the quick breath from both the nostrils. Are you able to maintain the continuity of calmness? That would be wonderful. Calmness cannot be disturbed. It is already there at the same time on the other side of the mind. You are continuing with a short, quick breath. Continue, my friend. Short, quick, and gentle breath. It has nothing to do with the breathing in the Hatha Yoga, the Bhastrika or fire breath or something, or cold breath. It has nothing to do with snow breath, or it has nothing to do with fire of breath. Continue. And stop this. Start breathing deep, silent, slow. The breath first goes into the belly, then it goes into the rib cage, up to the throat. And while breathing out from the belly and the rib cage, check the quality. What is the quality? It is deep. It is silent. It is slow. And we understood a little bit of sound that sound is known as nada. And we have understood when we do the humming sound, it should affect inside my forehead. It means you have to adjust and align the way you do the humming. It should always create that vibrations inside the forehead. So start inhaling deep, silent and slow. There is no sound. While exhaling, start the humming sound, louder, deeper, longer. Every next inhalation and exhalation is deeper, longer than the previous one. Stop the humming sound, but continue deep, silent, slow inhalation and exhalation. But this time in the spine, as you inhale or exhale, the mind moves inside the spine, whatever the way you feel. But what is very important, as you inhale, and you are moving the mind into the spine, drop Om Shanti 5 times. Why you said 5 times? Just to maintain awareness. Don't attach, unwanted story with it. No, if you do 5 times, this will happen. If you do 7 times, nothing short of that. And during exhalation, drop Om Shanti 5 times. What is most important? You see these masters, Tantra masters, always use the device as a trick to drop that mind. You said Om Shanti and you give a pause. So in that pause you see the space and then you say Om Shanti. Again you see the space, you see the Om Shanti. So that this is more important. To maintain awareness of the Om Shanti than the space, Om Shanti, space, Om Shanti. But your breath is very soft and gentle. It is deep, it is silent and slow. This we do it for removing the vikshepa. Possibly in the future lessons we'll understand the vikshepa caused by Rajoguna, veiled by Tamoguna. As long as vikshepa is there, projection is there, the mind will not be able to succeed in meditation. Now we are already moving deeper and deeper and deeper. And now continue with a deep, silent, slow breathing. Drop this Om Shanti. We are moving into the stage 4. I say it Nyasa. There's the real meaning of the Nyasa is purifications. So the monkhood is also known as sannyasa. Means purification from all sides. Samnyasa. So what we are going to do? As you inhale, move the mind inside the right arm, in the space. As you exhale, move the mind inside the right arm, on the space. The space is your highway. The breath is your car, and the mind is the driver. The way you recognize the highway, even if the highway is made on the ground. So that is what we are doing. That. Highway is made on the right arm, but we are going deeper. We don't care what it means. We transcend the body in the state of purity. And now move the mind inside the left arm. I appreciate you all. That's a beauty. The teacher in the Eastern wisdom is not happy when you appreciate him or regard him. He is happy when you succeed. You get the point. You get that wisdom. Why so? So that you can carry forward the tradition based on your personal experience. And now moving the mind inside the right leg. We are in a stage 3. I told you sannyasa, samnyasa. There are multiple meanings, but one beautiful meaning that I always say, nyasa, purification, samnyasa, all purification from all sides. Then what happens? The mind has to reflect. Very good. Continue, my friend. And inside the left leg, the mind is moving with the breath. In the space which is the highway. Do you see when the mind walks in that, moves on the highway with the breath and finds nothing? Is it all round purification? Let your personal experience tells you. Why should I? Now inside the spine, from the top of the head to the tailbone. In the second step we have 4 steps, 4 stages. In the stage 2 we have 4 steps. In the stage 3 this is the only step, nyasa. Now leave that practice also. We move into the stage 4. Superimposing Om Shanti. Whatever is little left, we free the mind. How? Keep looking inside the heart or the head in the space. Any thought enters, Om Shanti. Any feeling, Om Shanti. Superimpose. Do you remember? I explain every time. I come to your house and you say, who are you? I say, Om Shanti. What are you doing? Om Shanti. Why you have come? Om Shanti. Which car you have? Om Shanti. What is your name? for every thought in the mind, your answer is Om Shanti. So your mind stops asking questions from me and you say, okay, and you close the door. That is what is going to happen by this step. Continue. And if there is no thought, no worries. Either you say Om Shanti or you don't say it. Doesn't matter. So when you say nothing, you enter into nothingness. The Buddha way of meditation. When you say Om Shanti, you realize Om is nothing but the true nature, which is of the nature of permanent peace. Principles are the same, expressions may be different. And now leave the step also, moving into the stage 5 casually, like a river. You drop Om deep inside the crown of the head and feel merging into it. Then, inside the forehead Om, there also you merge. Inside the heart, there also you merge a drop. You know when I use the word drop Om, a drop of water drops into an ocean and the belly button, and while moving the mind from the belly button to the crown of the head, you have many experiences, vision and the colors. Recognize them, accept them, continue the journey. nothing. So when I say doing nothing, it has one sometime, two steps. So what it means, look at the breath that is going in and out. You are aware of it. You're not doing anything now. No change in the rate and the rhythm of the breath. And as the breath goes in and comes out, you feel the sensation. The three-pointed awareness of the breath. It is awareness of the breath. It is knowing. It is not doing anything. That is why I also say doing nothing. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti. Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes, open the eyes inside, know your experiences. We have still two things to go, sharing your experiences, the way the Lara was sharing her experiences before the start. We should, it helps, it enriches others also. So next time you have the same experiences, you are progressing. How are you, Daniel?
That was very quiet meditation. I noticed that week by week, I'm quiet, and surprisingly, it's a very nice feeling.
Very nice.
I was thinking about the river and ocean. So honestly, I didn't feel like the ocean. I was thinking like Daniel, but it was super calm and quiet, and it's very difficult to describe, but it was very nice and pleasant feeling that I was just breathing. And there was nothing else.
Nothing else. That's true, yeah. You are approaching to that meditative state. Now you always talk, you are an IT expert, you always talk that there is a binary numbers. Computing is nothing but the binary numbers in the processor and the chip. Can you show me those binary numbers?
Oh, not really. I can imagine, but I cannot show you.
We don't imagine. we realize our true nature, but we
But
don't
I
see
know
it.
that these numbers are there, right? And these bits are there.
So we need that conviction that the real self is there, and then we practice it. It just came to my mind as I said, let me share with you. How are you, David and Jerry?
Well, they're very relaxing, calmness throughout, and just noticing it in my day-to-day life too. Just as somebody may come to me upset, I don't get upset. I just
Not influenced.
we work through it, and then I don't think about it afterwards. Right? It
Beautiful.
doesn't resonating with me through the day, so it's nice.
That is really good. That's really good. These attitude changes happen. David.
It was my breathing exercise was, I don't want to label it as the best yet, but it was really good. And two things I noticed. One is a temperature drop in my body, huge. It got cold. And secondly, this sometimes I see colors in the sky, and there's always a boundary to them, or not the sky. And this, I just saw there was no boundaries, and I just saw this swirling of light, basically for the rest of the meditation. There was no boundaries to anything. It was just like free flowing in space.
That is what the ocean is. The ocean. Example of an ocean shows that there is an infinity, all pervading awareness is there. That's so beautiful, wonderful. We are progressing. How are you, my friend Lara?
I am good. I had an interesting experience. It was a little bit lighter than it's been lately. But I think because I've started to clear out some of the chaos from me that I was experiencing, and I kept thinking, I don't know if I heard this story from you or from somebody else, but the story of the snake that goes to the village and bites everybody, and then the yogi master comes in and says, "Don't harm, non-harm, ahimsa," and so then the snake doesn't harm anybody and sits there and gets beaten.
Yeah.
And then yogi comes back and is like, no, that's not what I meant. Like, you can stand up for yourself. And so that story came to mind before we kind of went in there. So it goes, when we need to, we can say stop.
Yes.
When we need to for things. And so it just was coming to my mind when right before we had started. And so and I think I'm working on this concept of like, I can love everybody, but I don't have to have lunch with them. I don't have to do anything for them.
Yeah. Another point is let the love manifest from inside to outside.
Right.
Because when the river merges into an ocean and thinks, who am I? I am just love. But at the same time, in transactional reality, there is a natural action. You need not to even think of it. There is a natural action comes from your true nature. What needs to be done with a particular relationship in a particular place, so that the mind and intellect need not to interfere. It comes, the mind and intellect expresses it, and it is done. It is done. One person last week came, oh, you teach meditation, so what is your philosophy? I said, I don't have any philosophy. Now your manner of asking the question, I have already understood. No, but you have taught many of your students in India. They told me, that's why I'm talking to you. I said, they all are fools. They don't know. I don't teach anything. I just stopped the conversation. Finished. Not interested. We should be very clear about it, but that comes naturally to you.
Viveka.
Viveka, yes, Viveka. How are you, Samir?
Sir, it was really peaceful, and I have noticed a change in me for last 15-20 days. That a spark of peace is with me whole day. And it stops me from thinking in a negative direction.
Very good.
I start thinking negatively, that peace stops me. That why you are going this way, unnecessary, no use, you will not achieve anything. Stop thinking. So I stop thinking in a negative direction. That peace is there in some part of my head, I don't know.
Yes.
And it stops me from thinking all negative things. And it is really means good feeling whole day. If I keep doing meditation regularly.
You see, Daniel, you don't see the binary numbers, but you experience in different parts of your head. That is what happens. But unless we follow these principles, we cannot know. We take it just, meditation is just close your eyes, focus on the breath. How can it is possible? How it is possible? It's such a great science passed on to us for the 6,000 years. How can we say? So, Lara, let me introduce Rajkumarji is also a great yoga teacher. Lara is also a yoga teacher. Rajkumar on this side, you see the name. So, yes, with the Jerry. So, do you have any question? Let me know. Daniel, you should think, because you are an IT expert in a computer. So I remember in 1996, I was in Indonesia, and first time I started working on the computer. So at that time, it was Windows 95. Do you know that? I'm just giving an example. Then we had another version, and we uninstalled Windows 95, and we have a clean reinstall of Windows XP, I think. Perhaps XP, yes, I remember. And then we have Windows 2000 also. So the entire journey of meditation is uninstall the mind that was given to us by the nature. That animal mind with the social and the animal instincts had to be totally uninstalled, and reinstall the mind that you get in meditative state. And the journey is done. You live into that state. You see, there is another way of expressing it. So window hangs, then what you do? We hang, then we have anxiety, we have duality, we have conflict, we have ego, we have pride. These are viruses. So we should use antivirus. These steps are antivirus apps. No question, that is all. So we'll meet again on Monday. Thank you. Continue the practicing. In fact, I wrote the book for myself. Let me close it and then I will talk about it. I don't write for anyone. I write for myself. I enjoy that. But if people get benefit, so you pick up a topic, you speak even for 5-10 minutes, give the practice and see what happens. Wonderful. That is all. Thank you very much. We'll meet again on Saturday and then Monday.
Thank you. Salam Hariom.